Yo, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Special one for you, the Crit Championship. This is Legion's second attempt at promoting a race. And with me, here with the camera, is Will.
Yeah.
Welcome back, buddy.
Thanks. This was a fun one to race.
Dude, I am excited that you came back with some footage because I did not get an invite to the Crit Championship. And man, what a star-studded field. We're going to talk about how the race actually unfolds. But first, I want to talk about like what they're trying to do because I think it's so cool what Legion's doing. It's almost like what NCL's doing, right? Like they're taking these regional teams. Like, for example, Will, you are on Project Echelon.
Right.
As of recording this, a couple more months, you're going to be racing for a different team.
Yep.
But you are in this race, you are like, what is it again?
We're called the Milwaukee Swarm. So we get different jerseys, which you can see my guys in the blue. We have numbers on our backs, which is fun, and no pockets on these jerseys that we were given. So it's a new branding, but kind of fits in with our normal blue.
I think it's great, and I also think that Legion is doing such a good job with their branding. Like, I don't know if their graphic designer wants to, DM me, I wouldn't be so upset. These designs look so cool, and just for like the sport, I really like that it's regional. Like you can root for a team now. Hey, I'm from Austin, so I'm gonna root for the Aviators. Like I think it's just really cool and special, and they're like finally the sport is coming along. So I think that's really cool. Also, the format of this race is a little bit different. It's not as confusing as what NCL was doing last year, and I think I can describe what the winner of this race looks like, and then also the points in less than 5 minutes, which is more than I can say for the NCL race. So, the winner of this race is the first person to cross the finish line first. Did I get that wrong?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
You win the race if you cross the line.
Okay, good. So. So that, I think, is like the expectation from the crowd. But then what Legion has done is they call it the MVP, but it's essentially like a green jersey, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
it's a points race, and there are point sprints every 12 laps. So you get the most valuable pedaler for winning the most points.
Yeah, MVP isn't most valuable player. It's most valuable pedaler. And it is points based, just like the green jersey and the Tour de France. So there's also that competition on select laps. There are points on the line, and then a big bonus at the end of the race. But there are a couple of things going on in this race. Plus, there's also a team competition for points, so it's still getting a little bit confusing. But just keep that in mind. That's going to be relevant at the end of this race. With all that said, Will, what do you think we actually talk about your approach on the Milwaukee Swarm? Sounds kind of cool. And how you guys are going to try to pull down a W.
Yeah, this was an interesting one. We're all kind of late in the season. There are some guys who have already taken their off-season break. I had my little forced collarbone break, so varying degrees of fitness on the Milwaukee Swarm here. Been pretty much only riding the cross bike, getting ready for that, and then all the other guys are in a similar situation, which you could tell across the other teams, but our main thing was just to make it as hard as we could, banking on our fitness, which is our usual approach to things, and then just getting together as much as we can for the sprint laps and going for all the points we could. Our execution, you'll see, is maybe not exactly that, but it was nonetheless a pretty fun and very active race.
Dude, you seem determined to get to the front right now. Like I saw you come up a hot inside line a minute ago.
Yeah.
You're going to go again. And you have made it to the promised land, my man. How does it feel up here?
It's pretty good. I was surprised it only took me like 4 laps to get there because my fitness at this race was pretty rough. My bones were still broken. I still had some like broken ribs, and breathing deep felt weird.
Jesus, dude, I was surprised you even made it to this. Like,
yeah,
Will's a modest guy, but only a few weeks before this, you had a broken collarbone, right?
Yeah. It is healed back now, but here it was a little iffy whether or not I was actually going to be able to race.
All right, Will, fast forwarded now. We're about 10 and a half laps into this race, and as you guys remember, every 12th lap there are sprint points on the line, and you're in good position, dude. Walk us through the approach here because speed's ramping up. I see Blazers on the front. What's your plan here to gobble up some points?
Yeah, so I'm a little worried that I don't have any of my guys here, but I know they like to move up a little late. You can kind of see Sam maybe a little farther back there, but really just doing the standard wait for my guys to come up and hold good position to give them some space.
And doing the bro move. I mean, eating some wind just to make sure you have a space for your teammate behind you. But I'm still not seeing them out there. And you're not trying to commandeer a lead out. But we are moving now. 30 miles an hour. Here's the bell for the sprint points. Guy coming in hot on the outside.
There's Sam.
And there's Sam getting in front of you. He's going to take up some space through this corner. But I want you to pay attention to that rider. Holy smokes, he rides the lightning, and he ends up over the barriers. We're going to talk more about that crash because I think there's some interesting things that happen. But for now, Sam's up the road. We're inside of 1 lap to go into the sprint. How are you feeling now? 184 beats per minute. Is that fitness catching up with you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm a little tacked out at this point. Not really sure how I'm going to contribute to Sam getting some points, but I'm going to try and get up there if I can.
Oh yeah, you're still moving up, giving him some space. But look on the right, man. This is just pure class, right? This is Tyler getting in front of Luke, who was racing for Legion. I don't know if we mentioned that. And he is just like right this way, rolls out the red carpet, takes him into the final couple of corners. And at this point, I think you're just hoping that's the best of luck for Sam, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to be able to get much going on here.
But man, what a move by Tyler and Legion. That looks so good on the outside. That's why these guys are the best. They do stuff like that. And then the full Saturn sit-up here on the right by Dante. I'm like, you're not going to close this down.
No.
Why would you? Yeah. But I do want to go back, and I want to look at that crash one more time. Should we go back and slow that thing down? Here it is. So pay attention to that rider who just attacked on the right-hand side. He sees nothing but open road between him and the first set of sprint points. But he's coming in so hot, he checks back, continues pedaling. And for those of you who have ever clipped a pedal in a crit, it is terrifying. And he just goes over this traffic divider, and man, that looked really ugly. The good news is it actually wasn't so bad. Like a couple of stitches, no broken bones. That could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it looked bad.
I wasn't even there and it looked bad. So yeah, stoked that guy's all right. I want to fast forward and look at the next sprint. Can we do that?
Yep, let's look at it.
Okay, actually, before we get to the next sprint point, some excitement here, mid-race. Well, I thought you said you didn't have any fitness. What are you doing on the left-hand side here? Bombing the watts, man. Oh, you're jumping across to a move.
This is going to be a fake it till you make it kind of thing, hoping I can send this corner a little faster than the group does.
Don't pedal through it, though, like that last guy. Okay, whew. Because you're moving, man. You're over 30 miles an hour through these corners. Yeah. And you jump across. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not like a pure field sprinter. Like if you're going to gobble up sprint points, it's going to be from a breakaway. And this is the best thing that you can do for Sam, your sprinter, right? Right,
absolutely. Just kind of wear other teams down and hopefully get some points if I'm up in this guy.
And look at the composition up here. Did you, 188 beats per minute. I don't know about you, but I would be seeing cross-eyed if I was at 188.
Yeah, that's pretty high for me.
But you made it on. You're in the draft here. The power numbers have come back down, and I think maybe we should talk about the course because we actually haven't talked about the course yet. It's actually a bit more technical than I first thought because when I first looked at the course on a map, I was like, oh yes, this is a Legion promoted and sponsored race. It is exactly for Legion, but it's actually a bit more technical. How did it race?
Yeah, so you see us coming through some narrower sections. There were bottlenecks on the course.
That was like a bus stop back there, wasn't it?
Yeah, bus lane. So the start-finish straight, fairly open, but it's long until you get to the finish from that last corner. When I first rode it, I just realized it's a way more narrow course than I was expecting, which is really good for racing for the Swarm team and me, just because moving up is a little harder, and it makes all of the efforts you do on the front much more valuable. But other than that, narrower and a little bottlenecks. The corners are pretty wide open. You can almost pedal through them, maybe not clip
not
the
all
pedal,
of them.
but not all of them. But
and holy smokes, there goes your teammate.
Yep.
Wow.
Hugo sends it up the left.
Attack like you mean it. That's the one, huh?
And I'm just gonna sit up here and kind of block for him. You can see Ethan there on my left, and we just sit up, let a gap grow, because that's good for us. One guy's gonna bridge across, but other than that, just wait for it to happen.
Wow, that's dangerous looking. Yeah, I don't blame Blazers. They're jumping across because that's a powerful looking squad, and now you have your teammate marking somebody who's chasing, and now it's just looking like it's all kind of coming back together, which is like, after watching half of this race, it's kind of felt like that's how this whole race unfolded, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of marking things for a lot of different teams, which was interesting. I thought it would race a little different. You can see Corey up on the
not
left
happy
getting
with that.
across.
He had, I think, a couple of teammates up there, but not happy with that composition, huh?
Yeah, it just seemed like eventually it'd be a strung out field instead of a bunch of different riders attacking, which is a weird dynamic for having these set teams, but could be something to do with the composition and people not racing together all the time. And now it's my turn.
Yeah, now it's your turn. Now you're thinking, well, now I have a teammate up there, but I also have half of the field, so
Yeah.
Oh, but you think better of it. Wait a second. We were criticizing me for doing something like this back in the last race.
It's a little dash of teammate chasing. Gets you going.
Just a little bit, you know. All right, let's fast forward now to the next sprint.
Yep.
All right, 12 laps after the first sprint. That means we are at the midpoint of this race, and there are more sprint points on offer. I have not watched this. Will was like, you got to watch this. Just let me press play. Let's record audio. So you are not in a position, Will, to win any sprint points. I'll tell you that right now.
I've got to get real lucky for something to happen. And luckily it is bunching up. Yeah.
Yeah, with a half a lap to go. It is bunching up, but, oh, God, there's so many shoulders and elbows. Was it like this the whole race?
No, just for a few select moments. And,
oh, my God, this guy on the left. That had to have been what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, it gets real iffy really quickly.
Oh my God, let's watch that again. Okay, so watch this guy on the left coming up. He's trying to shoot a gap that doesn't really exist, let's be honest. And at the same time, the road was simultaneously narrowing through that like bus stop area, bus lane thing, and like, oh my God, I can't believe he kept it upright. He was all over the place with his front wheel.
Yeah,
terrifying. Yeah. It doesn't look like you. I'm looking at the results. It doesn't look like you guys got any of the points on that lap. It looks like more Luke taking down points, just like he did in the first sprint. Let's fast forward a bit. See how the third sprint points unfold before the final of this race.
Let's do it.
All right, third and final sprint point coming up here before the finish of this race. You guys got your work cut out for you. I see Hugo in your draft, but then he's not, and you're going to move up on the outside. Or is this the inside? Inside.
Inside.
Did you think that he was on your wheel?
Yeah, I was expecting to be moving him up to the front here, which I think we would have gotten in an okay position into this corner, coming in with the lap to go, but he decided not to follow me, and I think we'll see him a little later.
And you're moving up. I see you have one more teammate up there. That's Ethan. It looks like Ethan.
Yeah, that's Ethan up there. He'll probably be willing to weld some stuff back, but right now the pace is getting pretty hot.
You guys are just a bit disjointed, and I mean, it was your job to move up the boys, right? Like, but it's tough because you have to navigate the field too, and like you can't just be constantly checking back, and it's so hard on a course like this to stay together as a team.
Right. We didn't have radios or anything like that, so having that kind of communication and understanding, I'm moving you up.
Right.
Stay on my wheel was a little interesting for this race.
Right, and this race was just chaos. I mean, look at the attacks just left and right. So this is the lap. Next one under the gantry across the finish line is going to gobble up the points. In fact, the top 5 riders are going to gobble up the points. And like I said, you guys have your work cut out for you because this is the last one before the finish of the race. I don't think you guys have gotten any points yet.
Nope, we have not scored any points at all, which is nuts.
Most people haven't because Legion has most of the points. Speaking of Legion, look how many of them there are up here, and they're just dropping wheels, and now there's a gap, and they're just organized on the front, and it seems like their entire team is up here.
Yeah, they've got some strong horsepower. I mean, you just saw Lamperti kind of pull back there, but yeah, they still have dudes up on the front going for those points.
Yep, they were gobbling up all the points. Same was true with the 2 sprint points before this. Same is true for this one. And unfortunately, they take down some more. I think Tyler won this one. And, man, so now you guys are looking forward to the finish. Should we fast forward a bit and see how the end of this race plays out?
Yep, let's watch it.
Actually, I lied. We're not going to go to the finish yet. This is actually shortly after the last sprint. Things are slowing down, and Will getting Sendy on the front.
Yeah, I decided to go for a good dig and got a little separation early, which had my hopes up.
Yeah, this is looking good. And the timing, I mean, sometimes, right, like the legs weren't great. You're coming back from an injury. We could throw all the excuses at it, but sometimes, man, the perfect storm of like you're in good position, you're towards the front, right? I've described this a lot on the channel as like the slingshot position. where you have riders on the front slowing, you're carrying your momentum, you put a little dig in, and next thing you know, you have this big gap. And now you have Spencer. Spencer's such a bro. He comes across, and he's such a good breakaway rider, too. And he rides like he knows what he's doing, right? In a breakaway, guys, you got to commit. He gets right to the front, and he immediately just starts taking a pull, no hesitation. Unfortunately, what's going on behind?
Yeah, the pack's already caught up to us in single file, but they're on us.
Just shows the level of this field. Like, guys, this is the tip of the spear for crit racing, and this is the highest level. And, I mean, not only they catch you, Tyler just immediately sends it on the counterattack shortly after taking down one of the prize laps, which happened just a few minutes before this. Like, guy's an absolute monster. Stokey's going to be on your team, I bet, next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to have the horsepower for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, man, that seemed like a punch to your ticket. Your heart rate was up in the high 180s, and you have a handful of kilometers to recover. Let's see how it works out for you.
Yeah, I'm going to pay for it.
And I think you're going to pay for it, too, because here we are inside of 6 kilometers to go. There's your teammates right there. Will, get on their wheel, man. It's easy, right?
It's so close. And yet so far away.
I'm kidding. It's not easy, guys. We're going 30 miles an hour through these corners, and I understand the feeling. Like, I was struggling with this at Intelligentsia, too, where I'm like, I know the place where I'm supposed to be, just can't get there. And at this point, you have, like, Legion organized at the front. You have Blazers. You have the squads lined up at the front, and it's just so hard to move up when it's ripping this fast. And you find yourself behind Ty, which is generally a fantastic position to be in. Now we're inside of 2 kilometers to go. Race is going to be over in like 90 seconds. What are you thinking right now?
I think I'm on a good wheel at this point, but pretty soon I'm gonna realize that Ty is not going for the sprint at this race. So right here I decide to go around and kind of move up into the actual pack.
See if you can still find teammates, make a final contribution here. But, man, said it before, and I think I'll say it again. I think that lack of fitness is catching up with you, because here's the thing, guys. Repeated, 800 to 1,000-watt efforts without having ridden that much is a recipe for disaster. I'm surprised you lasted this long, man. It's impressive that you were to make it this deep into this high caliber of a race with having a broken collarbone just a few weeks before this.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm not done yet. We still have a full lap to make all the mistakes and figure out just how bad my fitness is.
Yeah, so here's the thing with fitness, by the way, is like it's not that one really hard effort. It's the multiple consecutive efforts that you can't recover from. That's really start paying for it. And yeah, like here's another one, over 1,100 watts. We're inside of the last lap here. And you're still making passes here, man. You got some grit here. Like you are not giving up. You're even coming around a teammate here on the right.
This is the point where I'm like, you know what? I am gonna try.
Dude, you are moving up. Wait,
now.
what's going on? I'm eating my words because I think it's like the top 15 riders are in the points, in the money, right?
Yeah, we'll try to get there if we can.
The crash on the right. Was that Monk?
Yeah, that was my old teammate Brendan Fury, aka Monk.
And so fortunately you didn't get tangled up in that, but it did slow you and these riders down just enough where I think that Luke's crossing the finish line already at this point. Yeah. He was miles ahead. Dude, the kid is so strong. I think the last time I beat him, he was 15 years old, and that will be the last time I ever beat him. He's going on to greener pastures in the World Tour, and he took down a big old W in this race. So congratulations, Legion. Congratulations, Luke. Thanks for sharing your footage, Will. This was a blast to talk through, man.
Of course, anytime.
Well, keep recording footage. We'll keep talking. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. You'll hear more from Will, and until then, catch you later.
See ya.